The last lecture should be done by me. And my topic will be devoted to the lifestyle tab or app in Biowell software. The thing is that we have presented the Biowell tab in our software a year ago, and we were collecting, like last year, and we were collecting data and we were looking for how it works and adding new features there. But of course, there are lots of questions. People get attracted by the notion that, oh, you can analyze the lifestyle with the Biowell, but then lots of questions arise. So, my name is Dmitry or Mita Orlov, and I'm general manager of the Biowell company, and I will share what stands behind the lifestyle tab and how did we create it and how do we recommend how to use it correctly in your practice with the Biowell. Let's go. I will start with my presentation. Let's go. The topic of my lecture today is the lifestyle approach in the Biowell. Well, we were working on Biowell software development for all these 11 years that Biowell exists. And yes, it was not so easy for people to use it, and people were asking many questions. So we were thinking about how to simplify the use of the Biowell for non-medical doctors, because most of our users are not medical doctors, but therapists of different fields. They can be massage therapists, Reiki therapists, psychotherapists, or life coach, or nutritionist. So very many specialties, but of course most of these people, they don't know what is the function of hypothalamus. They were not taught, so they cannot do properly the interpretation with the Biowell software. So we were thinking about how to make it more easy and user-friendly to use the Biowell software. So not so long ago, we have introduced the new tab called Lifestyle in our software that gives you 6 spheres of your lifestyle assessment with the percentage. As close you are to 100, the better. So closer all 6 values are to 100, better lifestyle you live. And let's look inside. How did we come to this app? I will name all these 6 spheres of lifestyle that we use in the Biowell software. These are environment, physical activity. Well, we have lots of doubts in this name as a physical activity because we are mainly concentrated on the back, lower back, and pelvis zone health, I would say functional activity and energy state. While you can still be physically active, you can play different types of sports while you can still have these kind of problems in the lower back, right? So we are still thinking about potential renaming of this sphere, but until now it stays the same. Third sphere is nutrition. Fourth is psychological and mental state. Fifth one is the regime of the day or your sleeping regime. And the sixth one is the hormonal sexual activity. Why did we select these 6 spheres? Selection came from practice. So from our empirical knowledge. By application, the BioWell and scanning many people, we have found out that most of the people, they have some kind of common patterns. And these common patterns, I have circled them with my hand on this screen as a regular representative of a modern citizen. We can see some sectors that are showing hyperfunction or abnormal glow that we are capturing with the BioWell. So by observing all these things and analyzing people more and more before, after different activities and scanning them, we were able to see this kind of reproducibility of these problems. And these problems are not the problems from which the people die. Don't get it wrong, please. This is the problems with which people live, because the main application of the BioWell software is not for already ill people, for those who already have to go to the hospital and take some heavy stuff, some pills, steroids, I don't know what, antibiotics, etc. BioWell is mainly for relatively healthy people, for those who are still able to do some preventive steps in order to prevent the illness. So they are relatively healthy, so they may have some symptoms or may not have so visible symptoms, but something is not ideal in their life and how they feel themselves. So maybe they get tired too fast, etc. So with the BioWell, we are able to do the analysis very fast. So with the BioWell 3.0, the most recent model, we are able to do the scan within 20 seconds. Okay, just not to be speaking without any approval, I will demonstrate it live. So here we go. We have a BioWell device connected to my computer. It's here, the box. And I will do the scan for myself right here, right now in front of you. And you can count how many seconds it will take me to do the full scan. I'm doing the full scan, so I'm scanning all 10 fingers. 1, 2. Yep, it didn't take me more than 20 seconds to do the full scan. I click analyze and that's it. That's the end of story. This is how fast you can do the scan in a BioWell. And then it's up to you what kind of analysis you can make. How did we do it before the lifestyle tab has appeared in our software? I will show it in real time on this case, for example, on this scan. So we had to go to different tabs. We had to go to the tab analysis to see the integral stress, energy, and disbalance. We can switch to the balance tab and see which organs and sectors are having high imbalance between the left and right hand sectors. Those that are highlighted are imbalanced more than 20%. And also we can see which are having the hyperfunction. You see the yellow zone is excessive energy. The pink and peach orange color is the energy deficiency, while the green one is the normal one. So you can see the variability, and you can see the name of each sector that gets into specific place. Hyperfunction or hypofunction or normal function. So we will before we had to, analyze each sector, look, okay, number 6 is this one, pituitary gland, okay, number 7 is thyroid gland, etc. We can go to area diagram, energetic diagram, we can go these overlaying of the diagrams to see if something pops up. We can go to the organs energy and see the tabs there, and analyze every system or the particular sectors that are in that system and see how the glow looks like for that system. The yin yang tab, for those who understand what the meridian is about. We can analyze the psychological state of the person by looking at the chakras and looking how stable they are, how close to ideal 100% alignment they are. If they are all in the green corridor of norm, you see the green is here, and in this case all 7 are in the center in the green zone, and we can do the psychological interpretation. By doing all of these, plus we can repeat the scans multiple times, we can do the comparison, and only then we can make some kind of conclusions, like what is the main top priority for the person. Of course, it takes time to click through all the tabs, to look at all the columns, all the sectors, all the parameters, and all the values. So you have to know where to click and what to search for in the BioWell software, because if you don't have medical education, sometimes you don't know where to click and where to look. So you have to really study in order to understand. And you have to do many clicks and moves in order to do the analysis. And I have shown you on the previous slide, I have shown you these main areas where the people are having those issues. And we can name them easily because these spheres and these problematic sectors are directly connected and associated with our lifestyle. One of the top number 1 problem that we stumble upon in the BioWell and we see for almost every person is the lower back sectors, and we can correlate that with excessive sitting, because we sit too much during the day, and usually our muscles are not so strong to keep the posture straight and not to suppress the inner organs and not to bend the vertebra too much, and not to damage the vertebrae. So second sphere, the urogenital system, is also being affected by the excessive sitting regime. Again, very popular problem for many people worldwide, because the lifestyle that we live is almost the same, at least when we talk about big cities. We do a lot of operations in a sitting position. Then nutrition. We are eating not so healthy food, not enough chemicals and those micro elements in our food, and water maybe not so pure that we are drinking. Not all of us can drink the spring water every day. And of course, the liver and kidneys that are filtering all this that we consume are usually showing hyperfunction too for many people. Then the environmental influence on us, the air that we breathe non-stop is not so fresh, because we have to spend a lot of time indoors where there's lack of ventilation. Many people live in the countries, in the places on our planet where it's even not convenient and not pleasant to open the window, because it may be too cold or maybe too hot outside. So we have to breathe dead air or air-conditioned air, and that is not so healthy. So that's why the respiratory system is malfunctioning for most of us, and Biowell is showing that too. Another sphere of life that we have talked about is not hyper functioning but hypo functioning usually, is the brain area, the eyes and your epiphysis, pineal gland, that are responsible and associated with your sleeping regime. And unfortunately, or fortunately, I don't know from which perspective to look at that, we have all these smartphones, we have all those gadgets, and we have electricity. We have access to the internet nonstop 24/7. And it's quite difficult to stop using it at night. And that's why many people worldwide don't get asleep in the proper time. And that's why the brain doesn't work at its full scope, and it usually shows hypofunctioning. So the lifestyle tab makes all these calculations that we have talked about in all these spheres in order to make the process of analysis and interpretation much easier and simple for the user. It takes into consideration all those sectors, parameters, the chakras alignment, different disbalances, energy values, and stress values for all these 6 spheres that I have already named. And then it makes the assessment and calculates for you these percentage. So what we are looking at when we talk about physical activity in BioWell, we're mainly concentrated on lumbar zone, the coccyx and pelvis zone, and the sacrum area that are directly associated with how much do we sit. I know many people have passed the Barwell scan and they say, oh yeah, why it is so low? The value in physical activity area is so low, but I run every day for 5 kilometers or like 1 hour or something like that. But even though you run 1 hour, then you sit for 8 hours or maybe 10 hours. So all your running, sorry, it doesn't work. So yeah, it seems for many people that like if I'm doing sports, I'm doing running or I'm playing football, volleyball, whatever sport, 1-2 hours a week, it may compensate the problems in these areas due to excessive sitting. But the problem is when we eat, we sit. When we work in front of computer, we sit. When we watch the TV, we sit. When we drive the car, we sit, etc., etc. So these areas are getting damaged, even though you play sports and you run every day. Unfortunately. So yeah, maybe the name like physical activity is not so exact for this sphere, but like I have explained what we are talking about and what do we mean by this area, by this sphere of lifestyle. Then when we talk about the nutrition, we take into consideration all of the sectors in the digestive system. We take also liver, kidneys, pancreas, and gallbladder. We take into consideration all the parameters that we have, the balance, the energy, and we do the big data analysis, multifactorial analysis, you can name it. When we talk about psychological and mental state, we are taking into consideration the chakras or nervous centers, it's up to you how to name it, the balance of them. Then we also take into consideration the left-right hand dominance, these balance parameter, the stress, and the functional state of adrenals, the energetic state of adrenals. And also, multifactorial analysis gives us that percentage of this sphere of lifestyle. This sphere is much more simple. It takes into consideration just 2 sectors, the urogenital system and prostate for men. Well, you know that this sphere of hormonal or sexual activity is much more important for men than for women, because through the sexual activity, men do lose the energy while women do not. They gain the energy usually. So that's why usually the energy level of the person scan and bio before and after sexual activity drops drastically. So that's why this sphere has been added here, because it really affects the energy state of the person. First of all, man. Then regime of the day. How do we sleep? The epiphysis, pineal gland, the eyes, the cerebral zone, the cortex, and the vessels are taken into consideration when we are assessing the regime of the day or sleeping regime. This one, the environment, is also pretty simple. We can do only indirect assessment. So there is a parameter in Bio software called internal noise. This is those red pixels, the noise pixels inside the finger that we see on the scans, and that is connected with the external influences on the person. Well, sometimes, for example, for women during the menstruation, it also increases usually the internal noise of the fingers. Well, it is not an external influence, but a more internal influence. And also, second system that we take into consideration here is respiratory system, because this is the air that we breathe. So after we calculate all these parameters in for all these 6 spheres, we apply weight coefficients for all of the factors and all of the values. Then we prioritize them, and then we calculate the percentage how close you are to the ideal. And you know that in bio, the ideal is not 100%, because it's impossible to reach 100% in all 6 spheres. Because we are living beings, still we have to follow the lifestyle according to the job that we have or obligations that we have in life. So that's why the norms for these percentages are based on real statistics. So if you click on the information button in the bio software on the lifestyle tab, you will see the norms for each sphere. And you can notice that the norms are different for different spheres of lifestyle, because these norms that we have introduced in our software not so long ago are based on statistics, on real scans made by real people worldwide. So you can see that, for example, the dantian, the physical activity, the dantian is the center of gravity. So that's one of the concepts to explain what this sphere is about. It's more about the health of your dantian, of your center of gravity, how strong are the lower press muscles, how good you're at maintaining the correct posture when you're sitting, and how straight is your back, not rotated, etc. So you can see that the norms for this sphere are the lowest for the people in comparison with other spheres of lifestyle. So you can see that the norms are between 66 and 79%. It means that most of us are living this kind of unhealthy lifestyle, having these problems with the lower back, and it's almost impossible to compensate it completely, this excessive sitting, unfortunately. And you can also notice that the norm for environment is more or less, higher, like much higher in comparison with other spheres of lifestyle. So you can see that most of the people are having quite good values for the environment sphere of lifestyle. Yeah, well, with the technology, with all the houses and all those sanitary norms, blah, 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 well, yeah, it's not so bad as it Could be, and you can see that the values are higher in average for the people. So each sphere has a connection to some relevant organs and systems and integral parameters that I have just mentioned. So we have analyzed more than 60,000 full scans made within half a year worldwide with the use of the Biowell 3.0. And for those people who are using the modern version of the software with the lifestyle tab activated there. And you see that based on this analysis, we're able to see where the norm is for each sphere of life. So in this case, you can see the distribution and you can see how many scans, how many people, 2,000 scans, like almost 2,200 scan people are having values. Like the top one is between 81 to 82%. So the norms that we have introduced are not invented by us, they are invented by you, by those the users of the Biowell who have scanned many people worldwide. And as you can see, it's quite smooth and beautiful distribution that we have. So it was quite easy to derive the norms from here. So in this case, as I told you, the higher the better. Still, we know that there are people who are having healthier lifestyle than others, or who devote more time to compensate the problems that our lifestyle has by doing exercises, attending yoga classes, etc., etc. Well, just one thing to demonstrate in our software. If we go to the software, we can see that the spheres of lifestyle are encircled with the frame. You see, sometimes it's the purple frame, sometimes it's a pink frame. So the purple frame is associated with ideal. It means that the value of this sphere for this scan is better than the normal value worldwide. So it means your lifestyle in this aspect is ideal. If it is not encircled, there is no stroke around, so no color. It means you are in the normal state, as most of the people worldwide. And if it's pink, it means you're below the norm. And in our Biowell software, if you create a report with the lifestyle tab there, our software will give you a medal as a master or guru or expert in holistic lifestyle. It depends on how many spheres of your lifestyle are ideal. So in this case, the software tells me that my lifestyle is almost ideal. And yeah, if we look at the result, yeah, it's 3 spheres are purple. Let's continue with the presentation. So the next question is, I know many users worldwide, the Biowell users, they do these scans with the Biowell, and the clients say, "Wait, why like the Biowell software is showing that my sleeping regime is normal or perfect even, while I don't sleep well." Or why physical activity is so low, I'm doing sports on a constant basis, etc. So why results do not coincide with the client's perception? So first of all, we cannot fully rely on client's perception because the people have different types of nervous system. The nervous system can amplify the signals that are coming to your brain or can suppress these nervous signals. In first case, it's going to be a sensitive nervous system that emphasizes everything, and in second case, it's going to be strong nervous system that doesn't mention anything, like a warrior type nervous system. So a warrior type nervous system will not sense any signals because the threshold is very high, and the person will say, I'm fine, I'm perfect, everything is well, while you can see in the biowall that it's not so well. And then the results of the biowall scan and the client's perception will not coincide. In an opposite case, when the person has a sensitive nervous system that amplifies all the signals, they will say that I'm almost dying and everything is bad, la 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 la, all trash. And we can say, but no, it's not so bad. Again, the results will not coincide with the client's perception. And it's not the fault of the biowall, it's the way we are built. Yeah, there are people that are somewhere in between these extremes, like the strong nervous system and sensitive nervous system, for whom the results will coincide more. So what can we do in this case? There is such a thing that I call it how do you do effect. Imagine if somebody is approaching you and asking you, hello, how are you? Your default answer will be, I'm fine, thank you. Yeah, because that's the way we're built. That's the automatic response of our system. You don't do the deep analysis of all these systems, how do you feel in all the parts of your body, and psychologically, and socially, and mentally, and economically. You just say, I'm fine, thank you, without, any analysis. So the thing is that when you do this scan with the biowell device and you enter the finger there, the impulse that we are sending is super, super subtle. It's very weak. You don't even feel it, even though you have heard in a lecture by Dr. Nato Pignataro that, yeah, the voltage that is being applied to the opposite side of the glass is between 3 and 5,000 volts. But the thing is that the time interval that we are applying this impulse is very, very short. These are micro millisecond and some milliseconds there. So it means that, okay, yeah, 20 milliseconds pass, and that's it. You get the response automatically from the system. The system doesn't have time to analyze everything and tell you how it really goes. And your body actually follows the protocol of your mind, because mind is always over matter. Mind is over matter. So it means the body will also reply by default as everything is fine, thank you. So this how do you do effect can be easily demonstrated in our software. I can show you a case in the database where the person was scanned initially, and I was saying, okay, let's check if your system actually works. And I'm saying, okay, show me the gallbladder sector. And okay, we can find it here. Here it is. Yeah, here is the gallbladder. Yep, well, the emission doesn't look any different from all the rest of the emissions on other fingers, no so big difference. And this person said, haha, I don't have a gallbladder. It has been extracted a couple of years ago already, so it means the system doesn't work because, yeah, like there is light there, but there is no gallbladder. Why is there light there? Like, it doesn't make sense. Well, yeah, according to TCM, it does make sense because absence of an organ doesn't mean that the energy meridian has been deleted too. So the energy still flows through the meridian while there is no organ. It's still fine. But with the use of the biowell, we were able to check if it's true what person is saying and if biowell actually works. So we have asked the person to do physical exercises, squats, and we have scanned this person once again. And here we see that there is no difference on most of the sectors all around this body, but you can see this gap in the emission, and you can see below that is gallbladder sector. What does it mean? It means that our body by default is trying to imitate and pretend that everything is fine. You can call it how do do effect, or you can call it compensatory mechanisms that are constantly hiding the problems from you. You're coloring the grass into the green color so that it will be real grass, you know? So coloring the grass doesn't make sense, but it's what we actually do by default. That's the way our organism is built. The compensatory mechanisms are constantly hiding and compensating problems that you have in order for you to continue functioning and do what you want to do without, getting disturbed by different problems. So these mechanisms are non-stop working. They don't ask your permission or any command in order to start work. They do it non-stop by default in automatic mode. So that's why when you do this scan with the biwell and these ultra-weak impulses being sent, this answer that you receive is like, I'm fine. Because the compensatory mechanism has hidden the problems from the biwell. So only if the problem is really acute and really heavy, like big problem in active phase, then yeah, even without any other additional inspection, you can see right away the problem there. But what should we do in this case when the problem is hidden? How can we dig deeper? So the idea is that the modern medicine is coming to understanding that health is about adaptation. So how can we analyze the health, wellness of the person without checking the adaptation? It's impossible. So we need to check the adaptation. And how can we do that? That's the only way, is to apply stress. So this is exactly why that scan of that person has revealed the hole in the gallbladder sector only after doing the exercises of those squats. Because the blood flow, the energy flow went to those muscles that were used during the squat exercises, while those sectors that do not need the energy and the blood, like, it was taken away from it. So we need to apply stress in order to really see the actual state of the person, to evade this kind of compensatory mechanism, beautiful picture with painted grass. We need the real picture. And in order to see it, we have to do the stress exercises and then scan again. Well, thanks. Biwell is able to do the scan within 20 seconds. So it's not a big deal to repeat scans multiple times. In Biwell software, you can easily get it, and then you can see the deviation. For example, if I go to the Biwell software tab and I analyze 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 scans made within 5 minutes, we can see that, yeah, the percentage, even in lifestyle tab, is oscillating. It's not standing still. So for example, here it's 70% for physical activity, then it's 72. Here it's already 78, then it's 71. If we go to the compare mode, we will see that each sphere has its own range of oscillation. So the normal range for you. So for me, you see that the physical activity, the dantian, sphere of lifestyle is between 70 and 80%. And yeah, this is true. My work is mainly in front of the computer. And you can see that these two scans that I've made right after the squats, doing 50 squats, they didn't actually drastically change the values for the lifestyle assessment. So the values stayed in the same ranges. So yeah, the environment is one of the best, like no, it's the best in my case, while the psychological is oscillating between 80 and 90%, the sleeping regime between 75 and 85, etc. So for each person, this oscillation is in its own range. There is no problem in this oscillation. We are living beings, and of course, the reply of our hand and the meridian system should vary depending how many times you scan, under which conditions you scan. And as long as we are living beings, we are able to compensate the problems for some amount of time, and in some cases, the problems will get revealed. But by doing the multiple scans before and after exercises, you can actually see if there is a problem for the person and what is the top priority for the person. In my case, the top priority is my dantian and lower back, right? So the physical activity, yeah, sitting too much. I know. But, for example, if we talk about the reproducibility of the scans and the deviation, we can see, for example, that the 6 scans before, 4 before squat, 2 after doing squat, and I can even add the recent scan that I made just in front of you. You can see that most of the sectors, they stand at the same spot, but still there is a deviation for some of the sectors, while they still stay in the green zone. It's not the fault of the device. If you scan the metal cylinder instead of the finger, you will see that the results will be much more reproducible. They will be 97, 98, 99% balance, alignment of all the nervous centers. While we as living beings, we are oscillating. Our mind is floating. We are changing our perception, our concentration, the ideas that pop up in our mind, then start some processes in our body, and some endocrine system reacts to our thoughts, and different chemistry happens there, and the chemicals are being injected into our bloodstream, etc., etc. So if we return back to the software, to our presentation about the lifestyle, we can see by making multiple scans and by applying squats, for example, in my case, squats didn't really change the conclusions. So everything stayed the same. So for me, these squats and these exercises didn't open any secrets. But in some cases, you will do the scan and one of the spheres will react more than others to the physical exercises. And this is the place where you need to pay attention to. I know that many people are saying that, oh yeah, well, we do the scan within 5 minutes and we get different results. But these results depend not on the biowell, but on the person. You take a stable person and you analyze 6 scans in a row, and you will get this picture where everything is oscillating quite in a minimal range. While another person, you scan 8 times in a row and you get absolutely different picture with very high variability, not in the green zone, with some of the nervous centers or chakras even going to the red zone. So it depends on the person who is being analyzed. So please don't be afraid of repeating the scans, because actually the more scans you do, the more information you extract from the person, because it's not about the value of 70 or 77 or 90. It's more about the stability of these centers in time. So from my perspective, and also, you know, that in TCM, traditional Chinese medicine, they say that the balance is much more important than the energy level of the organ or system or meridian. It means that you need to balance this system first, and the value will get corrected itself. Same story here. If you do the multiple scans for the person, you apply stress, you ask to do the squats, okay, not 50, but 5 or 20, it doesn't matter how many the person can do in order to get stressed. And you do the scans again and see what will react to this stress more. This is the reaction of adaptation, and adaptation is about your health and wellness. And BioWell, with the scan that can be done within those 20 seconds, is the fastest tool on this planet to do such type of analysis. Please don't be afraid of the deviation, because the deviation is actually the essence and the key to the correct interpretation in BioWell. The variability of the results is very important, and it in many cases is even more important than the average value of energy for this organ or system. If the variability is too high, this is the problematic area for this person. So in order to see the variability, you have to repeat the scans. So please don't be afraid of repeating the scans. BioWell use is about monitoring. And lifestyle tab that we have here, it just makes it much easier for you to do the some conclusions and make it faster without going to specific sectors and parameters. And even though you don't know about the existence of pineal gland or hypothalamus or gallbladder, you can still use the BioWell, you can still do the assessment, and you can see which sphere of lifestyle has the lowest values, has the highest variability in between multiple scans. And well, in one case, you can just redirect the person to a corresponding health professional, nutritionist, yoga teacher, psychologist, or environmental specialist, etc. Or you can try to help this person yourself. So there are so many ways of application, and BioWell is about monitoring, and Lifestyle tab just makes all these dirty work for you. It analyzes all the tabs, it calculates for you all the percentages, and gives you the estimate for 6 spheres. As at the end of my presentation, I want to tell you a story that the recommendations that we are sharing about healthy lifestyle are being proposed by a renowned doctor, medical doctor, and also at the same moment homeopath in Dubai, who is healing people from very, very severe stages of illnesses. And her approach is completely based on the lifestyle changes. So it doesn't matter with what kind of problem you come to this doctor. If you follow the healthy lifestyle, your body will heal itself, well, with some help of that practitioner, with some detoxification, etc., etc. But following the healthy lifestyle leads to better health. So by doing the scans and the BioWell, you can get that guru golden medal of the holistic lifestyle if you have all 6 spheres in purple. If you have such cases in your database, please share. We are happy to listen how these people live. those gurus of healthy, holistic lifestyle. So I thank you all for your attention. I hope that from now on, the Buy Well lifestyle tab is more easy to use and more understandable for you. And continue using Buy Well. And I hope to see you tomorrow, because this is the last presentation for today. We try to be user friendly. We don't want you to sit for too long. We are taking care of your dantian. So you see that we have finished just within like 4 hours. It's quite good. You have time to take rest, to do physical exercises and relax. And hope to see you tomorrow. We have more interesting speakers and presentations tomorrow. Again, it's going to be short, within those 4.5 hours only. And that's it. Thank you all very much for being with us today, and see you tomorrow.